Good morning and welcome to Sun Ra Artist Homestead. I'm Syra. I'm going to take you on a full garden tour. It's going to be somewhat brief in terms of explanation just because I have so much grounds to move through. I'm going to be doing more detailed garden tours coming up here in July. Right now it's the end of June and just want to show you everything that is planted out and growing, how things are doing. Yeah, so this video is going to be moving quite fast so I can show you everything. So I've got a couple beds of celery here. Variety is called Tango, doing really well. Broccoli on one side here. Cherry tomatoes, sun gold and sweet million. Got some basil there to add flavor to my tomatoes, and 2 rows of carrots. And all these carrots I've left to go to seed here on the end of this bed. Daylilies are about to bloom. Under the netting there I have cauliflower and cabbage. Along the fence line here I've got shelling peas, more celery. Just planted out not too long ago, that's why it's a bit yellow still. Volunteer potatoes. Some broad bean, new variety here I want to save some seed from. A bed that I need to plant out still. Red onions. Volunteer dills all around as well. I've been weeding here but leaving the dills, so there's kind of some dill in between my onions there. This bed I've got lots of volunteer potatoes that I've left and just kind of planted around them with some kale. That was more recently. All this chard I planted out a little while ago and it's going pretty nice now. More volunteer potatoes that are left and just hilled up a little bit, put some mulch on, some blank space there to plant out. See, I'm still planting at the end of June. Got some russet potatoes in here in the pathway, a bed of clover and sage. Gonna do a bed of carrots right here. Just one bed of garlic here. Scapes are perfect for harvesting right now. Candy roaster squash. I'm getting to grow up this arched fence here and they will hang down on the inside. Right now it's full of comfrey that I usually do cut back and make some comfrey microbe tea with, and cabbage as well, red acre cabbage. I often grow some of the red stuff that's not netted. A skeena cherry here, a whole bunch of garlic growing underneath. So I let the scape mature and then you plant the bulbils, and that's how I get this thick kind of ground cover of garlic. It's kind of protecting my cherry. I like to put oregano at the ends of beds. And my sea buckthorn hedge is starting to fill in a bit. And all these potatoes here were planted 2 years ago. A few came up, but this year is the year for them to just fill out. So these have been just going for, I haven't harvested any, but this year I will harvest them because they've really filled in. I do have some corn planted in here too. Didn't know how thick the potatoes were going to come up, but it looks like the potatoes are kind of drowning out the corn at this point, which is fine. Get a nice crop of potatoes. More oregano. Corn is doing really well. This is saved seed from last season, called Double Standard Heirloom. Just need to thin these out still, and the garlic will come out in about a month and I will replace something here. All these are my large blueberries here. I've got lots of mulch, wood chips and straw and some green mulch put on them last fall. Beautiful lemon balm here. New bed of potatoes. They just popped up, so I just put this straw mulch over top. All right, I'm just gonna walk out this way so you can get a better view of kind of the food forest area here. And also I'll show you the new hugelkultur I was just building. So it doesn't look like a whole lot right now. Still gotta do this rock wall here. It's only been a few days since I planted it out, but I got a double terrace so far. Want to go up that bank, at least 2 more terraces. I'm thinking of actually doing a pallet hugelkultur for the next one because it's more structural and I can just fill the pallets and stack them. Yeah, so I just planted out this bottom hugelkultur with a bunch of squash, got some kale and seeded some sunflower, amaranth, some quinoa, and some runner beans. A bunch of plants that didn't get out to people. I've been giving them away because they never made it to the market, but still have a lot. I've been planting them like mad. Some grapevines up there. Another bed of blueberries here, and they're still kind of limey in color. They still need to adjust their pH around their roots, I suppose. They are cropping out, though. Anyways, got some Yugoslavian garlic growing in here. Buttercrunch lettuce has been going for over 5 years on the property, just self-seeding each year. There's some graffiti, F1 cauliflower. Blueberries are coming along. trellis of large slicing tomatoes, large onion variety in here, self-seeded cilantro, basil, volunteer sunflower there, a bunch of lettuce on the other side here. Just recently put this firewood in here as well. It's making a really beautiful border for this bed. Sunflowers, some borage, yellow loosestrife, blush grape growing up this large fir tree here. She's fruiting out. A Rainier cherry. Couple of box gardens. I'm gonna move out of here. Bunch of honeyberries or haskap. The birds did get them all because I didn't get my netting on in time. Pussy willows are getting big. I usually cut them back, but now that the grapevines are growing on them, and they work really quite awesome actually for a trellis for vines if you just want to do kind of more of the wild style of grapes. A couple apple trees in here, a Fuji and a Honeycrisp. Large himrod green grape is taking over pussy willow tree here, actually a couple, and it's just pulling the branches down. And last year it really weighted them down. Now this year they're going to be even more accessible. Really large lovage that's going to seed again this year. It's about 10 feet tall. The grapevine is even wants the climber. Red currant here. Few berries on her, not too many. A little bonsai mountain ash. Some horseradish in here. Cloning a new grapevine there just by putting some soil at the base there. So this little cove in here is fun, and reach up and pick grapes. And this is actually a blueberry bed right in here, but it's a little bit shaded now with the drooping berries. A ton of volunteer potatoes, and I have strawberries in here as well. Usda berries have died back this year, so they'll be replaced with this kiwi vine that had to come down off my power pole, and so it's just going to replace these usda berries. I'm going to need to cut them out still. I have a row of broccoli in here, pathway broccoli. Grew cauliflower here last year, did quite well. And on the other side we have goji berry. Doing some more clones there, they're coming along. Honeycrisp apple. And a new little fence holding up all of these tomatillos. Also got some matchstick peppers in here and some beans. Strawberry hydrangea. Got some herbs in there. Nice little guild under this tree here. All different colors of lilies, lavender, and blueberry bush, hollyhock. So I have this tower here I grew squash in last year. This spring I planted some watermelon in here. And sadly, we've had a really cold snap, and I never covered these, so only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 look like they're going to survive. But I do have some other melons that are larger actually in containers, so I'm going to replace a bunch of those. New apricot tree. Fava beans from Saved Seed. They're looking really nice. Lots of volunteer poppies in here. Just planted out these zucchini. They were pretty late to go in. Bunch of peas here that I had to reseed as well. April green cabbage. All the hollyhocks, they're about to start blooming really soon. Eggplant, some beans, and beets. A volunteer bed of dill. And we got some cilantro, romaine lettuce, parsley, beans planted here in this little semicircle, and some Napa cabbage. I've been welcoming the lupins a bit more this year. They grow on my hillside, but I've been letting them come down here. It's probably just got reseeded here. I also planted some new colors because mostly I have the purple one. Sweet Williams, yarrow, some zinnias, echinacea there. Raspberries in this area here. I have a purple variety. It's going to be a new bed. Yellow one called Anne. A large red one called Eden. And a heritage variety and some loganberries. And at the end of each bed I have some blueberries. This one is Reka. I got some berries on them this year. On this side here have 3 sour cherries. They've been bred for like fresh eating, so they are a lot sweeter. They're on their own rootstock. And lots of strawberries, garlic, a couple leeks from last year. Over there I've got a couple cucumbers. Got a little greenhouse here, and then we move into more of a food forest. Sugar snap peas here with a crimson flower and basil. Some kale I just planted out. A couple sweet potatoes need to go in still. On this side we've got kale and parsley and climbing zucchini there. Red noodle bean, a long bean. A bunch of plants in here that need to be planted out. Some are gonna get composted. Sorry guys, just too many. Rosemary, a new grapevine, spearmint. All right, so my little spring greenhouse here, I've got it all done up pretty nice. Let me just turn this fan off. Various varieties of peppers, all sweet varieties, different shapes. Matchstick hot peppers. Got these sunken pots in here with the bottoms cut open. These are Anta High, one of my favorite peppers. They're nice and early and fast. And potted up squashes. These Napa cabbages just been taking off. I gave them some fish juice and they're just loving it in here. They grow so fast. I've got melons along here. They seem like they're a little hurting. Should have closed up the greenhouse with that cold snap we have. They're gonna be okay, but yeah, they haven't really taken off yet. Got all these beautiful poppies in here, volunteer. More squash that needs to go out. Ah yes, my Japanese sweet potatoes. It's a new crop for me, super excited. Hope I can get something. And some yams. They weren't as prolific. It's just the seed, the tubers I had didn't sprout out right away. Some new, some pepper plants I just stuck in there, but they are cropping out. My cucumber boxes are doing pretty awesome. I want to keep them real nice and pruned and just to that flat surface there. Cantaloupe variety. So these are going to grow up this fence here. I've also got a row of peppers in there, and asparagus is still coming actually. I always tart my carrots so they germinate, and then I like to put these boards on to really holds the moisture in. And then also my cat, he loves to walk on these, but he doesn't hurt the seedlings then. Got some Araucaria squash in there. Some fruit on her, not as much as last season, but definitely some on there. More tangle celery and leeks. Pathway there. I have garlic on this side. Donut peach tree here, white fleshed, smaller peaches, donut shaped. She's doing pretty well. Liatris and some bellflowers there. Have some fennel here. And we have leeks in the front, beets, and then lima beans. They're growing right up this trellis pretty quick. Big strawberry hydrangea, some broccoli, lots of volunteer carrots kind of in the pathway. I was thinning them here, and so they're kind of bordering my celery here, so I'll have some volunteer carrots in this bed as well. This is an apple here. Some loganberries in there. Got some blackberries over there. They really need some attention. Got all kinds of stuff in here. Rhubarb, and I recently planted out this hugelkultur berm here. It kind of connects both of these trees, just with a whole bunch of perennials and some annuals. Got a bunch of cucumber pickling cukes on this trellis back here. Nettles here that are growing, and I may move them, but I am excited to have them on the property now. I think I must have put one there, and it took a couple years before I noticed it again. Over on this side, volunteer hollyhock. Got a couple hugelkulturs in here on both sides. Lilacs in here, have a bit of a waterway under them here with a rock wall that's really kind of grown in with moss and whatnot. And blueberries there. Here are my pickling cukes from this side. I've seeded some amaranth and quinoa here as well. That's my Anjou pear tree. I just pulled her up this spring. She was really lopsided for about a year. So I've straightened her out. Happy about that. She did flower as well. It was her first year, but no fruit got set. And no fruit here either. Just too bad. A couple of blueberries. These guys are still adjusting. Wow, it's really getting thick in here. Bleeding heart and flags and lilies and volunteer chamomile I see in there. And this is a bit of a waterway in here. All of this garlic in this hugelkultur, stilbees, sweet peach tree here. She's got some fruit on her again. Won't be as much as last season, I don't think. And all the rain, she does have some spots on the fruit already, which is too bad, but we'll get something this year. Got a currant in here and some bee balm. Oh, there is a couple king apples. Okay. Lots of volunteer cilantro and lettuce in here. And then I planted paprika peppers as well. A couple beans in there too. This is a nectarine tree, fire bright nectarine. A guild of liatris mostly, no pata plum that's fruiting for the first year. And these beautifuls, these foxgloves here, they're biannual, so they flower every other year and they reseed themselves. So here we have a little fence line with some broad beans in here and some more garlic. Painted daisies, oriental lilies are gonna start blooming real soon. Opata plum, it's a cherry plum. Sand cherry here. It's a volunteer rose in this area. Stilbees, lots of stuff in here. Lots of echinacea, black ice plum, no fruit yet. A red pear. A few fruits, not too many, just a few on this side. A mountain ash. Here is the pond. It's got some roses and stuff up there. It's getting a little overgrown, but as long as there isn't too much grass, I'm pretty happy. All these ferns have sprouted out in the last couple years. I really welcome them. There's enough moisture and shade in here that the rocks really grow a lot of moss. I have a large blueberry here, just a few berries this year. Her color's looking really good. She's like a 12-year-old, transplanted a couple years ago. Nice little ground cover underneath. Ooh, red poppy. Kind of like a straw flower. This beauty here is producing a lot of apples, Harcourt. Excited about her. This will probably be my best producer this year. Not a storage apple, but hey, I'm really grateful to get all these fresh eating apples. Look at these bells. Wild black cap raspberries along here. Really full apples, this tree. Super awesome. I've got broccoli planted under her. If you're enjoying this garden tour, please take a second and like the video. You can leave me a comment as well, ask me a question, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'm going to show you the south end plot now. This is a large magnolia, double magnolia tree. A zucchini in here, some bee balm, a new ambrosia apple, bare root, some liatris in there, a whole bunch of volunteer sunflowers. Planted some zinnias in here as well, and some amaranth. And these are cucumber towers. Held back with all the rain we've had and the cold temperatures. But this is going to be a really gloriously beautiful little cluster of plants here. Lots of zinnias about to flower. Potatoes are all up. I'm going to put some straw on these guys. Some more suyo long cucumber. It's pretty much my favorite variety now. It holds in the heat, no bitterness. Some San Marzano tomatoes. Yes, I'm making these wicking barrels. That's gonna be a video coming up. Just doing a couple samples here, and then I'm gonna do 6 more for a video. I think melons are growing in those guys. These are eggplants along here. Thai basil. Suyo long cucumber. I think everything needs a little bit of water in here. We got cukes already. Basil's starting to green up now. Got a composting trench pathway to hold moisture and microbes and worms. Peppers there, and watermelon. Everything is doing really well. South end plot here. That's some of the first beds I planted this season. Green beans, these pole beans. Lots of cabbages, a couple varieties. This is a white marigold. It's kind of unique. Cornflower, blue flower. Onions are coming around now. Doing all right, even with all the threat problem I had early on. I think they're gonna beat them. More marigolds. Corn is looking amazing. I'm excited to save seed from this variety. Some garlic here. Broccolis with potatoes taking over everywhere. I have way too many volunteer potatoes. They look so healthy and strong, and they're gonna flower soon, so I'm leaving them. A dead apricot. Lots of flowers in here. And look at this mint patch. It's waist high. It's catching up to the corn.
When I look deep into your eyes,
Thanks so much for watching. Keep your heart inspired. We'll see you on the next one.
when I'll be coming home.